Well, that brings us to barrel or not. I'm going to pull from Toby Hawk's last line of his email for our first barrel or not, but I have to mention that we are supported by Buell Wetsuits. BuellSurf.com wraps barrel or not in warm, buttery neoprene.
It's getting cold out there.
There you go. You need a 3.2 right now. You'll need a 4.3 down the road. Buell Surf is where you can get it. So barrel or nah, using the term pussy as a pejorative.
You know, it's fallen out of fashion, so I'm going to say barrel. David Lee Scales. I'm saying barrel.
You're bringing it back like
pussy.
butthole?
Yeah, kind of like butthole. Stop being a pussy. Yeah, it can refer to, I think, just as much a pussycat. Stop being a pussycat.
Well, yeah, I guess it could. I didn't even think about that angle, but it certainly doesn't. Even reading it in Toby Hawk's email, I was like, I don't want to say the word. The word feels gross to me now.
It feels gross?
Look, the female vagina is not gross, but saying the word as a pejorative feels gross to me now. Trust me, I'm sure I said it a million times when I was a kid. Either I grew up or society changed or something, but it does feel gross now to say as a pejorative.
I mean, I hear you, but the gross, pejoratives should feel gross. That's what makes them pejorative, right? That's when stuff gets overused, is when it stops feeling gross. Like people swearing up one side and down the other now because none of it matters or feels gross. So your pejorative should feel icky to say. Then you reserve it for times when you run into a sitzpiggler in the wild.
Yeah, well, I think it got overused already, and it still went out of fashion, so...
Do you like dick?
Man, somebody's going to edit this to make it sound a certain way. Do I like dick? Say more. Ask it different.
Like when somebody cuts you off, do you say, dick? Hey, dick. That guy's being a dick.
Oh, in Sam McIntosh fashion last week?
Oh, did he use dick?
The
dickhead
index.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do use the word dick still, yes. That guy's a dick, totally, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, part of it is just pussy sounds. It has like the diminutive kind of the S to the Y.
Right.
It feels weird.
Yeah, it does.
But I'm going to say barrel.
Have you seen those?
Bring it back.
Okay, I'm saying no. I'm just personally not comfortable using it. I'm saying no barrel on using pussy as a pejorative.
Okay.
Do you remember seeing, there was memes a long time ago about Betty White's quote about using it as a pejorative?
What did she say?
I just looked it up while we were talking. She said, why do people say grow some balls? Balls are weak and sensitive. If you really want to get tough, grow a vagina. Those things take a pounding.
Good job, Betty White. Yeah. Grow some vagina.
Do you think she actually said it, or did the internet just say it?
I'm going to say the internet said it on that one. Maybe.
It seems. I mean, Betty was crass, spicy, but that's extra crass.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope she said it.
Yeah.
All right, barrel or nah, utilizing the valet parking.
Yeah. I've talked about my being a valet, playing bumper cars on the PCH, etc., as a valet. So I am always very, very, if I cannot valet, I will not valet. Except here's the thing. Growing up, use the valet. Don't like seek out the valet, but don't avoid the valet at all costs, right? Like if you can easily park by yourself, typically I will prefer that option. Like the luxury of having your car brought around is not, typically oftentimes you'll have to wait and da-da-da-da. But the people, adults particularly, who go out of their way to avoid valet parking, there's something wrong with them. Like, just suck up and do it. It's what society demands from time to time. And when you need to valet. Don't make a big deal about it.
I'm not quite avoiding it at all costs, but I'm pretty close to that boundary line.
See, I think it's time for you now to dial it down. Like if it's inevitable, it's inevitable.
Here's what I don't like about valet. Certainly the expense, like there's always that to consider. So that's not cool, but it takes longer and it's less convenient than me parking my own car. So I'm now
course.
paying you just so it's a status thing. It's so you show up at the restaurant and somebody else does something for you. Although they're doing it to a lesser degree than I can do it for myself, and I have to pay them just to do it.
Of course.
You
And I
duped
hear
me into
you.
this status thing.
And I totally hear you, but there's many restaurants now, say in Beverly Hills or Los Angeles, all over. There's a ton of restaurants where you can't. I mean,
valet
you'd have to go
only.
so far out of your way to self park.
Yeah.
And in those places, sure, valet is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. But like, suck up and valet.
Yeah. Man, I'm going no valet. I'm going 2 for 2. You go barrel, I go nah.
I'm going barrel.
I'm anti. And I'm certainly anti it being the only option. Restaurants
Yeah.
out there, you need to have public parking as an option, please. All right,
Sets Pinkler.
final barrel or nah. Riding on the back of the shopping cart if you return it. Or
100% barrel.
Or I guess it doesn't have to be if you return it. It could be
you
riding.
could take it to the end of the parking lot.
Yeah, or just riding it to your car with your groceries still in it. Riding on the back of the shopping cart.
100% barrel. I think there are, talking about growing up and valeting, there are very few things you can stay young forever doing. Riding on the back of the grocery cart is one of them. Like, if I saw a person of any age doing it, I'd say that guy or woman is having some fun. It would put a smile on my face. But I love it. I love to do it.
I do too. I still do it for sure. I don't do it
Yeah.
every time, but I certainly still do it. I can envision myself doing it. But you're right. If you saw just randomly at the grocery store somebody in their 60s doing it, you would get such a chuckle.
It'd be like talk about very few things in this life have no downside. Riding on the back of your grocery cart is 100% upside.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It is functional. You're getting a little break from walking.
Yeah.
Like every part of it is good. It doesn't damage the cart.
No.
It's victimless.
There's
It's
no downside.
perfect.
It's
Yeah, no downside.
very interesting, right? Like that little
Yeah.
thrill of, I mean, it's related to surfing actually. Like that little
Yeah.
thrill of going fast and having the breeze in your, it's still thrilling no matter what age you are and how many times you've done it.
The little bit of out of controlness too, like the weird spinny wheels
Yeah.
you don't quite, you're not like on a bead there. Like something could kind of go wrong. So there's a tiny bit of danger,
Yep.
the tiniest bit of danger
Yeah.
that makes it, I mean, it's perfect. It is the perfect thing.
Yeah, I agree. This is pretty barrel, riding the back of the shopping cart, full barrel.
It might be the biggest barrel we've ever had, to be honest.
Could be the biggest ever.